as well as we are looking for a director of the Empowering Allies team. So more information about that can be found in an email, and we will put a link in the chat to the volunteer expectations document. And so those applications are due next Monday, then we'll have the interview and the appointment process after that. If you are just interested in being on a committee team, not leading it, you can indicate that interest on your profile in Membership Toolkit, and the committee leads will be using that to help form their teams later this year. Okay, also just wanted to highlight some of the upcoming conferences and events that we know our team will be at. The American College of Sports Medicine is going to be in Boston. So that's coming up at the end of May. We're going to have some swag and things like that at that event. I believe I still have a bunch of stickers left that I can share with people. So you can let us know if you're going in the conference meetup channel on Slack. We also have the European Society of Biomechanics coming up at the end of June, beginning of July. And Freya will be talking at that meeting, which we're really excited about. American Society of Biomechanics at the beginning of August. Early bird registration is open for this. IWB, BBA, and LiB are having a pre-conference workshop that we are working on together. And then there will also be meetups, I'm sure, for all three of those organizations, but definitely IWB is planning a meetup probably that first night after the opening reception. And then finally, the Canadian Society of Biomechanics is at the end of August, and that deadline for early bird registration is June 24th. And Cheryl already posted in conference meetup, so please reply to her thread if you are planning on going. And then I believe also we have just on the side there, the ASB Diversity Travel Award is still open until the end of May. So take advantage of that if you can. We have a new blog posted on our website. So this was written by Dr. Sasha Portnova and about why we need more science-focused podcasts. And so we're really excited about this blog, and you can check that out on our website. We also have another book club coming up. So Dr. Julia Dunn, she just recently defended, has been organizing our book club that happens about every 3 to 4 months. The next book that we are reading is Equity for Women in Science, and I believe the plan is to meet at the end of May for this one. So there's a when to meet in the Slack channel, and yeah, we're looking forward to talking about this book. Oh, you don't have to have read it or finished it. Just come hang out with us. It's fun. And then save the date for our June meeting. So this is going to be on Wednesday, June 5th at 11 p.m. GMT. So that'll be 7 p.m. New York time, 12 a.m. in London, and 9 a.m. in Sydney. So really hoping to get some of our Australian friends in that meeting. And then, yep, just to finally a little plug for the 3 groups that are all helping put on this event today. LiB, Latinx, and Biomechanics, their website is there. Ours is intwomenbiomech.org, and the Black Biomechanists Association. So we're honestly just super grateful to have collaborations with these 2 groups and everything that each group is individually doing for their space. And yeah, look forward to many more fruitful collaborations together. All right, I think I blew through that.
Yeah.
Any questions?
You did a good job. Thank you so much, Ashley. So as you will have seen advertised, this is sort of a Wikithon between the 3 affinity groups that Ashley already mentioned. So my name's Freya. I'm a postdoc at Imperial College in London in the UK, and I am the Director of Member Support for IWB. And yeah, so I'm gonna run you through how you can contribute to sort of Wikipedia of unrepresented groups in biomechanics. So just a disclaimer, completely not my idea. So I was originally introduced to this through Dr. Jess Wade, who is a lecturer in functional materials at Imperial College. She is quite an extraordinary person, and she has written more than 2,000 Wikipedia biographies for women and people of color. And then now that she's really good at Wikipedia, and I don't know, maybe she must be running out of people at some time that's like off the top of her head. She also nominates people from those groups for major awards. And there's a group called 500 Women Scientists that she's a leading member of, and that kind of all ties together. But yeah, so Jess is quite amazing, and so I saw what she was doing, and I thought that maybe we could apply it to biomechanics. And then I don't know if anyone else was at ISB in Japan last summer, but Professor Julie Steele gave the Wharton Wheeler Memorial Lecture, and among other things, she spoke about how there's none, or there's very few women in biomechanics on Wikipedia, and so she basically said that there should be more. And she also sort of at the same time had recently released her article in the Journal of Biomechanics, looking at pioneering women of the International Society of Biomechanics. And I'm going to show you that paper later, because basically what it does, it gives these like amazingly detailed biographies of lots of women who've contributed to ISB throughout sort of its 50-year history. And basically they are like ready and waiting to be made into Wikipedia pages. Julie has already done the hard work. John Childs as well, who I think is the ISB archivist, both of them worked really closely together. So that article that Julie wrote would be a really useful sort of point of note to go to. And yeah, so both of those things, I thought, well, I was already thinking about it, and then Julie still wrote about that. So then I contacted Julie, and then me and one of Julie's colleagues are working together with ISB to try and get more biographies of women in biomechanics onto Wikipedia. And so that's what sort of led to this talk today. So the first thing I want you to do is to pick a Wikipedia page. So at some point later, I'm going to show you how you can edit an existing Wikipedia page, and then there's going to be kind of 10 minutes to sort of try and do some of that and like look at how it works. But you need to pick a Wikipedia page first, and it helps to have kind of just a completely random one. Like, please don't do ASB's Wikipedia page, because we can't all do you can't all edit the same page at the same time, because it kind of only lets one edit happen at once, which I'll explain later. So yeah, so maybe I'm just going to give sort of 30 seconds to for everyone to kind of look and find a kind of a random Wikipedia page, but kind of something that you're semi-interested in, just to have a look. Okay, so hopefully that was enough time to kind of find something that you might be interested in looking at. Anna has called dibs on the Tour de France. So yeah, that's a good one. Great. So yeah, so I hope everyone's found something that they're happy with, if you're able to take part. We are recording this, so if you wanted to do it later, you don't necessarily need to follow along if you're sort of doing a few things all at once. So just quickly, before I show different ways of contributing to Wikipedia, I just thought we'd just take a minute to think about why it was actually important in the first place. So as scientists and researchers and clinicians across these three groups, we're probably not using Wikipedia I mean, maybe we are using Wikipedia on a daily basis. We're not referencing it in our papers. We're not saying it's the highest, level of resource by any means. But particularly for if you can remember being in school, Wikipedia is definitely really useful for finding out information for homework and for different projects and things. And so it is the world's most widely read knowledge repository, but particularly for that age group of children who are like finding inspiration of like things that they're interested in, people who they want to be when they're older. Actually having a presence on Wikipedia is really important to kind of inspire the next generation. Because I don't know about you, but I certainly wasn't a teenager knowing that biomechanics existed. So it will be a way for people to understand that and to learn that. So there's more than 2 billion unique device visits per month. However, less than 20% of the biographies on Wikipedia are of women. So from an IWB perspective, that's what we were trying to address. I tried to find other statistics for sort of race, gender, sexual preference, any other sort of disability, minority group, and the data doesn't seem to exist. If someone knows it or does come across it in their travels, I would be very interested to know. But I expect, given that less than 20% of biographies are of women, I would expect that other groups are similar or maybe even worse. So there's definitely lots of room for us to make improvement. So there's two ways of contributing. The easiest way, and I think kind of the most satisfying way, personally, would be editing a page. But you can also create a page. And so I'm going to show you how to do both of those things. But yeah, so we'll start with editing and then I'll show you how to do it, and then we'll have a little go on the page that you've picked. And then we're obviously not just going to sit here and create a new page from scratch in 10 minutes, but I'll show you the general sort of the things that you need to think about and the requirements and actually how to do it. Should you want to progress, I would definitely say do some editing first before you're going to make your own page. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Next, we're going to do how to edit. I just want to shout out for this graphic that looks exactly like Anna and Jay, which is who it's supposed to be. Yeah, I just love this graphic. And I thought it was kind of apt for what we're doing. So I'm going to just take you through it on the screen, and then I'm going to stop sharing these slides and go into Wikipedia and show you it kind of live. Essentially, the first step, you need to have a Wikipedia account. You can edit without a Wikipedia account. It will basically make you an account attached to your IP address. But it's just kind of better for the community because it's a community project. It's better for the community if you have your own page and that you sort of log in. You basically find your page of interest. And then why I said that we can't all just edit ASB's page at the same time, it doesn't really work like Google Docs. You can't have multiple people in making edits all at once because you basically make your edits and then publish them separately. So it's not a live update, which means that someone else could make edits and then update them before you or after you, and it all gets sort of messed around. So what I'll show you how to do is to apply an in-use template above the page, so that if someone goes into that page whilst you're editing, they'll see the template above there to say that it's being edited, and then that means that they know not to touch it whilst you're in there. You can then save your edits, remove the template, and then it's ready for someone else to come in and edit if they want to. We'll go through how to edit like text, tables, images, links, citations, and summary boxes. And then once you've done all of those things that you want to do, you then just publish it. You have to write a brief description of your edits, and then you can watch it if you want to. You can tick a box so that if someone else updates something, you get a notification about it. Depends how keen you are on that. So I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen and hope that I can try and set up the screens that I want. So just bear with me a second. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my Wikipedia page on American Society of Biomechanics. You'll obviously, yeah, I'm in the UK, but the European Society of Biomechanics doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so so we're here at ASB's Wikipedia page. So essentially, so you can see, so this is me, Freya Watson, and I'm just here on, this is Wikipedia, this is wikipedia.org/wiki/American Society of Biomechanics. This is how the page looks. So editing is super easy. They've changed the functionality recently to make it really user-friendly. So I'm just going to click, I'm on this page, I'm just going to click edit. And then basically it makes itself into a sort of semi-Word document. You can, if you really want to, I don't know why this just seems to me like the easiest route to do it. You can, the old way, which is why less people used to do it, is through the source code, which you obviously had to understand. But the visual editor is much more user friendly, and it just means you can go straight in and edit. So it's just as easy as typing away what you want to type. And when you are, so here I'm adding a paragraph, but if I wanted, oh, sorry, I nearly forgot because I haven't put my in-use template up, sorry. Okay, so I've clicked on edit and I'm here. I then go insert, template. I search for in-use. I select that one. And you have to write the time that you go in there so that if you accidentally forget to remove it, that someone knows that you that I did it. Like if someone goes in 2 days' time and they're like, oh, she's not still there, they'll know and they can just remove it. So that puts in this is actively undergoing a major edit. I mean, I'm not sure about the major, but that template's in there. And it says this message was added on the 1st of May, 2024. Sorry that that's backwards for most of you. And also the wrong time at 6:20. So that's in there. And then I publish it. And you have to write what you've done. I added the in-use template. This is a minor edit, which basically kind of means it doesn't need checking so much. And then, so now you can see, so we're back in read, and you can see this page is undergoing. So anyone who goes on this page, if you go on this page now, it will show this. But then now I shouldn't be disturbed. No one else should be editing it whilst I'm editing it. And I can go in and write what I like. So, as I said, so I was talking about these paragraphs. So this is for a paragraph. If you want to insert a heading for different subheadings, you know, essentially like you would do in Microsoft Word, then you just change what you're on. Really, you'd have a look. So I think that the ASB page could do with some serious updating, mainly because this is, okay, I updated this. So their awards page, so they've only got the Borelli Award. And previously it was only up to it only had from Scott Delp in 2011 to Ted Gross in 2016. So yesterday, when I was kind of like flapping around preparing for this session, I was doing some edits. So all I did is I just went onto the ASB website and I got the information, the awardees of the Borelli Award, and then I added them all in. And the way you do that, so I could insert has got everything that you need. So you would put in a new table. So if you wanted to enter something for one of the other awards, you would probably then need to make a new subheading under awards. And then you want to insert below, insert above, move, delete the row, and you just double click. Go on, double click, and then you would right here. You know, so with ASB coming up in the summer, it will need updating to 2024. Oh, that's probably the header, isn't it? Yeah, so it's really easy. So you just type in whatever you want. And the name. So that's how to add a table. I'm just going to delete it because we're not going to keep it. And then in insert, you can add different like maybe like some math formulas if people are sort of notable for generating certain formulas, and you can also put in pictures, and then also your reference list. So then the two other things that are important to do when you're editing is you need to be able to add in these links. So you can see that Ellen Aruda has a hyperlink for her name. And this means that she's got a page because I found it yesterday. And so I put that link into Ellen's page. So I also know that this person has a page. So to add so these links are links that exist in either internal to Wikipedia or external. So you highlight the name or the thing, like research or whatever, and you select the link. And then it will automatically search Wikipedia for that, for what you highlighted. I know you obviously need to check that it is the same person, but I know that this is the right person. So then I just select it and then it links it. You can also do external links by going for external site and then you put in the URL that way. So that's how to do the link. So let me see if there's an example of an external link. Okay, so World Congress of Biomechanics. This, you can see it's got this little arrow coming out of the square here at the end. So that says that that's an external link. And you can see if I hover over it, it's going to take me to the World Congress of Biomechanics page, not an internal Wikipedia page. So that's how you do all the links. The links are really important, and particularly for new pages, because the way that when people like get in a Wikipedia hole and are searching and searching and searching, the way they find things is by things that are interlinked. So that's a really important editing thing that you can do. And then finally, if we wanted to, it's also really important to reference because Wikipedia needs sort of external and sort of independent secondary references. So what we would do then is wherever you want to in the text, and you would select site, and then you say whether it's a website or a book, and then basically it's putting in a manual citation in the same way that you would do for EndNote or Mendeley. You know, you put in all of that information, and then when you click insert reference list, unless it already exists, which it does here, it will generate the reference list at the bottom for you. Oh yes, I did this yesterday. So I added the grade awards so that then maybe if IWB, BBA, and LiB get their own Wikipedia pages, we can then link them. But we could put in some external links there. So yeah, you can see that there's on pages like this, there's plenty to do. And so then I would just remember to get rid of my in-use template. And I did make one change. So I added Wikipedia link to, and I can watch this page if I want to, but I don't want to. Yeah, so there we go. So we're back to the read page, and you can see that my change is here. So then when you hover over, you can click. And then if you look in the history, you can see that Freya Watson did all of these things. Yeah, so you can see everything that's happened. So if someone unchanges something that you've done, you can see why. So that is, I think actually I can stay on here and go, your turn. So I was just going to have 10 minutes to have a go at editing the page that you found. Yeah, so I will mute myself, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes and just, you don't have to save or publish any of the changes, maybe just make pretend changes just to have a go at doing some of the links or adding a table or adding a different heading. Yeah, or if you do want to publish, of course, then publish them. And obviously you may have to make an account. Yeah, so see you in, well, let's say 8 minutes at 22. another couple of minutes, but if you have done anything and you want to post what you've changed, or post the page and what you've edited, then, or maybe like some ideas for edits that you want to do when you've kind of got more than 8 minutes, yeah, maybe post them on the chat. So hopefully you've had enough time to at least kind of appreciate that it's really easy to edit Wikipedia pages. So there are people looking that sort of oversee Wikipedia and like follow all the changes. So like I don't know if you've ever seen in the news where someone changes someone's Wikipedia page to something rude or hilarious or some sort of gossip, and it'll get changed back. So things like that don't stick around forever. But that is to say that it is still a community page, so you can't make a page and lock it. So you can't, if you're going to make a page for yourself or make a page for, say, like LiB or your PhD advisor or someone that you admire, you can't then lock it. So other people are allowed to edit that page. So I guess just being aware of that it's always a community resource, but that there are people looking and making sure that any content is fair and correct. So now we've done editing, I'm just going to do a little bit about making a new page. So with regards to academics and scientists, so you can't not just anyone can have a page, you have to meet notability criteria. So they have to have at least one of these things. So a lot of academics will meet this. So they have to have their research has had to have a significant impact, received highly prestigious national or international awards, or be a member or fellow of a scholarly society, or held a chair or distinguished professorship, or even had an administrative post for institution or society. They might have had substantial impact outside academia, but doing so in their role as an academic, or they might be the head or chief editor of a journal. And the important thing about those is that it's well referenced, which I'll come to later, so that you're proving it beyond doubt by someone who doesn't know this person, doesn't know about your journals or your awards within your community, but they can see that all of these things are, or that one or all or some of these things have been met. Very briefly, the writing style, it's an encyclopedia. So this is just showing an example of sort of journalistic style versus the encyclopedic style. So particularly sometimes if we're writing about someone maybe that we know well, it would be quite easy to sort of veer away from that sort of very fact-based encyclopedic formula. So it's definitely worth showing some using examples of similar pages of people in a similar position, so that you can use that as guides. And I'll go through some really good examples of that in a sec. References. So as we're used to in academia, everything on Wikipedia must be fully referenced. Some pages are really short, but even if they're really short, you're probably not going to get very far without a minimum of 4 references, and at least sort of 1 per paragraph. The references, they must have significant coverage of what you're saying that they reference. They can't just mention it in 1 sentence in a 2,000-word article. It kind of, a significant portion of that article, for example, needs to be about what you're referencing it for. Those references need to be reliable, which we're used to working with, and secondary and independent. So they can't just be about someone. So we could obviously use it as a link, but we couldn't use the IWB website to reference that IWB exists, for example, or even the paper that was published in the Journal of Biomechanics about the IWB and the survey results in 2023. We can't use that because that's written by the executive committee and different volunteers from IWB, so it's not independent. So obviously those things can go in because they happened, but there needs to be something else more substantial, secondary and independent, and with significant coverage behind it. And those things are often the hardest things to achieve for academics, because a lot of the stuff comes, we've all got, people have got plenty of their own papers, but there is, personal websites, university websites, so it's often harder to find those things. So it's really worth thinking about those. I said that I would share this article, which I will do. So it's Journal of Biomechanics, 2023, Pioneering Women of the International Society of Biomechanics. I mean, this gives tons of names of charter members of ISB. Talks about different women who've held leadership roles over the years, but then all sorts of names with like presidents and council members who were women. And then here, so it just starts here. So this is just going to tell you everything that there is to know about Doris Ida Miller, and it's going to be, it's already well referenced. Talks about the work that she's done. And then we go on to Micheline Gagnon and Sandra Jean Olney, and it goes on. So if anyone was interested, Mary Rogers, great photo. If anyone was interested in writing a page for any of these women, then I would say this is a really good resource, a really good place to start. BBA sort of released their I can't remember, sorry, off the top of my head what you call them. But basically these sort of like synopsis of their members, and you know, it at least gives ideas of their achievements and their awards, where to, you know, where to look to find that additional information. So there's lots of examples of those sorts of people, which I assume are all in the sort of BBA website, but I'm sure any of the council would share them with you. There is also, so there's a couple of biomechanics women who already have pages. So Mimi Cole, you can see this is her page. Really, you know, in terms of the introduction and everything, it's quite short. It doesn't need to be this great big long page. Select publications, you know, potentially this page was made quite a long time ago, so those are probably, you know, could be updated, and awards. And you'll see here that there's the Borelli Award, which Mimi got, which is on the ASB page, that Mimi is linked for that, but it's not, it could be sort of linked back here. And then represented. So you can see that these pages don't need to be really long. Eleanor Ruda, who won the Borelli Award this year, again, her page is not sort of overwhelmingly long, but it will give you a really good idea of the sorts of things that you wanted to write about, and the sort of references that you're going to need to be able to find to have a page that is considered notable enough. There's also some good examples. There is Women in Antarctic Research, started their own sort of Wikithon. So they have a page that details all of their researchers, again, that shows we're not looking at anything really long here. So yeah, so plenty of good examples. And in terms of, yeah, so in terms of the content, so I've just used Jess Wade's page. I've just showed you a few. Jess's is particularly long. She's got loads of stuff in there, good for her, but it doesn't need to be that long. What it does need is, in this red box, it's got like a summary paragraph, a snapshot of the relevant information. It needs to have like an introduction and a general summary of everything. It explains why she is notable. You can see that it's well referenced. There's 13 references just in that, 5 lines. And you don't want that to be particularly long. We've then got this summary section in green on the right, that contains sort of, like a snapshot of the relevant information. You can have as much or as little as that as you want. And then there's the main text with different subheadings depending on whatever you want to use. So I'll show you how to do that. So it's similar to editing, but you go into your own, you click on this sort of person image on the right, and you click sandbox, and it creates a sandbox. And so if I wanted, so I'm going to start with a heading. So if I wanted to write a page for International Women Biomechanics, do that. And then I'm going to go to paragraph. And I might write something like this. So it's already got the citations that I put in before. So I'm going to write International Women Biomechanics, an organisation that brings women together. It was founded in July 2020 by Anna and Jay, from posts on social media. It's an affiliate society of ISB, and a recipient of the ASB Grade Award, which is why I went down that Grade Award hole yesterday when I was kind of preparing. So yeah, so it's as easy as that. And you can then obviously insert any tables or any additional headings, and potentially, so you could, let me just grab it. Yeah, so I would go in and I might want to put in a link to the IWB page, which is an external website. And I'm going to paste that in there, and that's done. I might want to put, so then I could write a citation, a reference here for Anna to say that she is who she says she is. So I could actually cite that as a reference, and put that in. Just call it 2024. Let's just call it Anna's. This is just for the speed. So then you can obviously you should put in as much information as you can. And then put that in as a reference there. So show Anna is a postdoctoral scientist. And then if I went down and inserted the reference list, it's inserted in the wrong place. Sorry. That'll be down here, and then insert reference list. That reference comes up, and obviously it's terribly filled in. Yeah, so then you can see, and then for most of us, if we haven't done much editing, and if you haven't ever created a page before, you're going to publish a page. You describe what you've done, and then I'm not going to press it because it's going to then, you'll then basically submit it for review. And someone, like I said, the people who sort of oversee Wikipedia will submit that, we'll have a look through, basically make sure that it meets Wikipedia's guidelines for a notable organization in this case. And then probably the first time you ever do it, it will probably be rejected. But then you'll receive, it's kind of like having to do receiving a review and having to do a response note, although it's a bit more sort of less personal opinion. But you'll basically receive like some notes and to say, oh, you need to update this, you need to update that. And once you've done those updates in your sandbox, you can then resubmit it and it'll go back to that person. And so you can work on that. Yeah, so once you've started your own page, basically it's just a case of going to the sandbox, and then it's very similar to editing. It's obviously just a case of collating all of the information and all the links and the citations and everything that you need. But yeah, that's how you create a Wikipedia page, and that is pretty much it for today. It's just going to be a brief introduction. I mean, if anyone has any questions, I can certainly try and answer them. I have made a template. Actually, I can show you. I have made a template that I can share. So if anyone is interested, so this talks about do's and don'ts, how to select notability, writing style. This talks about what your page should look like, so it gives you some examples here, and use Jess's page like I did before. And then there's this template. So this is everything you could possibly put in a summary box. You obviously just put whatever is relevant. And then there's a template for the lead section, tells you how your first sentence should look, different context examples, because Wikipedia is quite specific for how it lists when people were born and where they're from and their nationality and their name, academic titles that they're very specific for. So yeah, so it gives you a bit of information about that, and then it gives you a template for the main text, so of examples of different subheadings that you might want to use. But obviously, like I said, it's kind of best to base it on people with existing pages, examples. So yeah, to give it a go. So I'm more than happy to share that, and I have like some other resources that I can share with BBA and LiB. So if you wanted to approach them, they will have them. But also feel free to reach out to me to get them as well. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, more than happily attempt to answer. But yeah, otherwise, thank you all so much for attending, and I hope you have fun. I would say some people love it, some people aren't fussed about it. I really like editing. I'm not big into making a page from scratch, but the editing is really, yeah, it's just rewarding. It's quite satisfying. Yeah, thanks. I wonder if air generated is somehow linked to Wikipedia. I would imagine I don't actually know about ChatGPT. I mean, I would imagine that they are linked to Wikipedia. It would seem silly not to. I guess so. I guess they would use Wikipedia, but I don't know for sure. But you're right that there's going to be a lot of high school students using it. Joe, people are already signed up for the ISB Wikipedia Wikibomb. Oh yeah, so with the ISB, what we've been doing, we've had separate writers and separate editors. So yeah, so Joe, if you'll upload, yeah, so you can share it with me, or Celeste, and then we will then distribute it to people who wanted to be an editor and a proofer, who will then upload it. So yeah, so because it's quite a lot of hard work just getting all of that information and doing all the referencing and writing it in the template, but you just need to submit it in the template, and then the editors will sort of proof it, make sure that it's referenced enough, make sure that the style is right, and they will put it onto Wikipedia. So we're kind of like spreading the load. Yes, Julia, it's super easy. As I said, they recently updated the way that you can edit. So particularly editing is really approachable. So yes, I hope you'll have a go. Yeah, so if there's no other questions, then thanks everyone so much for coming. We did record this, so it'll go up on our YouTube and probably LiB and BBA as well. Yeah, reach out if you have any questions or anything like that. And yeah, happy editing and maybe happy biography writing, and have a lovely rest of your day.